Good. All right. Well, today we got Adam here. I don't know if you've seen him as a familiar face or not, but get used to that beautiful face of his. Before we even start, normally at the end I ask this question, but I'm going to make a statement instead. We're going to have him back. So I'm volunteering his time and I'll have to bribe him. But anyways, we're going to be going over GHL AI Studio. Adam has an agenda and a topic, so I'll let him reveal that in just a moment. Anybody who is going to be on here, hashtag live, hashtag replay, and then drop your questions inside of the comments. We'll do our best to get back to you. We're not going to promise we will, but we'll do our best. And we're going to maybe even do a second follow-up version to this. Adam has done a lot of automation on GHL. Question, like how long have you been using GHL, just so people know?
Since 2020. So yeah, I think you guys got me into it way back in the day when I first started my business, and I've been all in, all out on GHL ever since.
Right. Okay, good. And just let me explain the difference of Adam starting GHL in 2020 versus another person. Another person may have GHL as a bill that charges them every month. Adam actually uses the platform, every button, every feature, and knows what works, what doesn't, and knows how to customize and make it do things it isn't natively meant to do and actually work. So it's more of like a permanent solution to a lifelong problem versus a patch job, almost like putting a band-aid over a broken leg. That just won't work. We're going to cast it up, fix it, and make it stronger, right? So with that being said, I'm going to pass the torch to Adam. If you don't mind, I'm going to mute out and turn my photo off and spotlight you. And he's going to be talking about.
AI Studio. So that was a nice little transition there, Rahul. So just to give a little bit of context to what Rahul just said, I have been using HighLevel almost since the day it was born. I think Rahul's got me beat by a little bit. I came in as an affiliate under him, and I've spent the last, I'm 37 now. I've spent the last 17 years in the technology space. And so that really helped when I got started with HighLevel, because even back then, HighLevel was a monster of a software. Now it's even more so. And so I've dedicated the last 6 years of my agency journey to actually helping other people master and understand Go High Level. I actually came through the GSD program. I'm a GSD alum. I've worked directly with Cody and Rahul, so much so that they're like, hey, you're really good at this GHL thing. Do you want to help us and teach our students how to do it? And so awesome partnership that has developed over the last few years with the GSD group. So if you're thinking of joining a program and need help, the GSD has literally gotten me to where I am today and propelled me into what I'm doing now. If you want help with GHL, hey, I'm Adam. Hit me up. Just shoot me a message anytime. Always happy to help. So when Rahul reached out to me earlier this week, he said, hey, talk about AI Studio. What is it? What are the cool tips and tricks that you guys have with AI Studio? And AI Studio, it's still technically in beta mode, but it has become an absolutely integral part of everything that we build now on HighLevel. I no longer touch the funnel builder. I no longer touch forms and surveys. I don't bother wasting my time creating all of the assets that are required to be created to have a functional working system. AI Studio has taken all the heavy lifting off of my plate. And in fact, I even had a meeting this morning with our team and said, why are we doing forms and surveys? We don't need to do them anymore. We can tell it what we want and it can go and build it. It can build it fast. It can build it efficiently. But there are some things that you need to know about AI Studio in order to make it work natively properly within HighLevel. And that's some of the stuff that I'm going to show you guys today. So as long as my screen share is good, you need to allow me to share my screen here, Rahul, and then we will get this show on the road. All right, good to go. Okay, so I did a little bit of legwork ahead of this. I'm going to show you what I did so that you understand it. I am actually building a website, a lead generation website for a fitness coach. And so what I did is I went into ChatGPT and I was like, hey, this is the information about the coach. This is the style I want this in. And this is the overall output that I want. So ChatGPT gave me everything that I need. So it took me all of 5 minutes to tell it what I wanted. And then I was able to copy this entire section right here, all the way down to right about here, the final CTA. So I was able to just copy this, paste it into AI Studio, and it gave me this output, which is perfectly fine with me. Now, what most people that I see working with an AI Studio are going to do, what I want to do, the end goal of this is I want to have a 8-step survey for somebody's fitness journey that's actually going to provide them an output of, hey, here's where you're at. Here's a fitness routine that you could be following as a lead gen mechanism. For anybody who knows me, one of the big things that we did in our business long time ago is we created estimator software and solutions using HighLevel. And so it's the same concept for lead generation where it's, hey, give the customer what they are looking for. That's what we're going to build here. Now, inside ChatGPT, again, I went and I built the entire survey logic using ChatGPT. So ChatGPT gave me the output that I want to create the survey. I took the liberty of creating this page ahead of time so that I didn't have to let you guys sit and wait while we did this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to create the survey. And it's honestly, AI just makes our lives so stupid simple. So I am going to copy this prompt right here to create the survey. Now, this survey not only has the survey questions, but it also has the output results that I'm actually trying to accomplish here as well. So I'm going to copy this part of the prompt and I'm going to go back into AI Studio. Let's create the fit set survey and output pages using this information for questions and outputs. With AI, the other thing I love about it is that I don't have to worry about my spelling. It just knows what it's doing. So I've gone and created the survey. Now, while it's doing this, I want to address something that most people screw up. If you noticed right here, up at the top here, actually it's gone now, but it wanted me to connect the CRM right away. And what I see most people doing is that they'll create their page, they'll create their survey, they'll then connect their CRM, which is super handy. But the problem that ends up happening is that when you create a survey like this, and you've got multiple questions and you've got multiple outputs, what AI Studio does by default is it will go and create these custom fields for you inside the CRM, which sounds awesome. But the problem is that it's always going to, 100% of the time, it is going to create those fields as text fields. And so if you are at all familiar with HighLevel, there's a lot of things that you can do with conditional logic using radio buttons or single select dropdowns or multi-select dropdowns, checkboxes, things of that nature. The survey that shows on the website in AI Studio is going to be a survey that has radio buttons and checkboxes and things of that nature, because that's what I've told it to do. But when it creates the fields inside of HighLevel, it's just going to create them as single line text fields, which for me doesn't really jive when we're talking about building automations based on certain select criteria. Your conditional logics that you're going to have to build inside your workflows are going to have to be literally typed out character for character to make sure that they match. And so what I'm going to show you once this survey actually gets built is how to take the survey that or forms or whatever you're creating within AI Studio and create and map them to proper output fields. So Rahul, I know that you said you're going to be right back, but hopefully you're back because we're going to have to do a little bit of, while we wait for the AI to kind of do its thing. I wanted to show this in real time, but it's also going to take some time because AI Studio is still in beta and it's sometimes really, really slow. So some of this is going to hopefully, we're going to have to waste some time here. But at the end of the day, I'm going to show you guys while we wait for this to happen. I'm going to walk you through the output and really what I want it to do and the format that you need to create and generate your prompts in so that it actually creates the correct field types and maps them and creates the correct type of field. So if you learned nothing from me, learned this. So right now I've got the fit set survey. It's got 8 questions on it. Every single time we do this, and we've got ChatGPT prompts that force it to do this for us. Every time we want to put a question on a form or a question on a survey, we tell it to do it in this format. So the label is the question that is going to be asked on the survey. The field type is what type of field is it? The options are comma separated options that are going to be the radio select options. And then the key is going to be how HighLevel identifies or names this custom field. So while we're waiting for this to happen, I want to go into here. So I've already created a fit set survey folder, and this is just my little sandbox account, but I want to show you guys all of this. So that we've got the field name, we've got the field type, and we've got the key. The key is not the contact dot. The key is matter underscore type in this particular scenario. The reason that we're doing it in this format is because that is how HighLevel's API is going to read the field names. It's going to read it based off of the key itself. So we're actually going in here and we're providing it with the key that we want it to use and the field type that we want it to use and the options that we want it to have. And so this part right here is super, super important to get this thing to work the way that you actually want it to work in the same format that your forms and your surveys would actually work if you were to build them manually. So this is what we're trying to accomplish in the next 20 minutes. And hopefully this doesn't take too long. It's creating the survey page structure. I asked it to create both the survey and an output page. And what the output page is actually going to do is it's going to give somebody a recommended workout logic. And so not only are we creating the input fields here, which are the survey questions, but we're also creating the output fields that we want to populate after the fact. What we could actually be doing here, right now I've got these all set just for the sake of time. I've got all of these set to single line text. But if you wanted to, you could have a recommended program field created that has all your different recommended programs. Your workout style could have all your different workout styles. And I would recommend you do a single drop down option for that. And then weekly workouts could be a number. Workout duration could also be a number. And then intensity could be a single select drop down as well. So not only are we doing the input fields for the survey, we're also doing the output fields at the same time. So now we're just in hurry up and wait mode. Rahul, if you're back, why don't you throw some random GHL? Oh, look at that. It's done. Okay, cool. So let's take a look at the survey built. So we're going to come up here. We're going to see, okay, yeah, it's got the survey itself as a new page. So let's go ahead and fill this out. How would you describe your current fitness level? Intermediate. What is your primary fitness goal? I want to improve my overall fitness. How active are you right now? I would say 1 to 2 days a week. That's changing, by the way. How much time can you realistically commit to each workout? I would say 30 minutes is a good starting point for me. Where will you be primarily working out? I've got a home gym. What equipment will you be using? I've got dumbbells, kettlebells. So notice how this is a checkbox format. This is not a radio format. So we need to make sure that that is created that way in our keys. So I'm going to say I've got dumbbells for now. We're going to go continue. Do you currently have injuries or physical limitations that would affect your workouts? Don't tell anyone. But yes, I do. What has been your biggest obstacle staying consistent? Previous injuries is probably my thing. So there you go. It has now completed this. Now, at this point, this actually hasn't physically done anything to my system at all. It's just created the survey. This is not linked to the CRM. None of this is actually going to populate anything in the CRM for me right now. It's literally just it looks pretty. That's about it. So now what we need to do is we need to map every single field. So we need to connect to the CRM and then map every single field. And there's one thing, I'm not going to do this now, but if you notice, there wasn't a contact info page at all on the survey. So when I come back and do this later, I'm going to add the contact fields as the last page so that we can actually get the contact details. But for now, what I'm going to do is I am going to come down here and I'm basically going to copy all of this information right here so that we can map this to the CRM. And we're going to go Command or Shift copy, I suppose. And we're going to tell this we need to connect the survey inputs and outputs to the CRM. Use the following key information to create the fields, types, and inputs / outputs in the CRM. Use the fit set survey folder for these fields. And I always just add a little line between my initial instruction and then the output or the input that I want. And let's go ahead and hit start. Now this should at some point ask me to connect the CRM because I haven't done that yet on purpose. So that should be the next step here. And again, guys, I cannot stress enough how important this is right here. So if you take the little bit of time that you need to create the right prompts around the custom fields that you are creating, then you can literally prompt ChatGPT or Claude or whatever to create the outputs for every single one of these fields in this format so that it will create the label, create the field type, create the options, and make sure that the key is set properly so that you can actually have a functional, good custom field versus just a standard text field. So at some point, this should ask me to connect to the CRM. That is a very important step. If it doesn't ask me to, we need to do it. There we go. So we're going to connect to the CRM. And now that it's connected, I'm going to ask it to do this again. So I'm going to go paste that in again. Now, while it's doing this, if you haven't done the legwork ahead of time, how can you still make this work? How can you still make this happen? You can do the same thing. So let's just say you've created the site, you've created the survey, you've created all the elements that you need to create. Well, what you can now do is you can go start the survey. Go and create these custom fields manually. So if you haven't already done this, why does it want to connect again? Sometimes AI is just a pain in the butt. But if you haven't created the custom fields already and you've created the survey already, you can do this method, or you can just go and create those custom fields and then use this same methodology to map it to existing custom fields. So a use case for that would be you've already got a snapshot, you've already got a system, but you're custom building the websites or the lead gen systems for your clients. So now you want to create that survey or use that survey or modify that survey with existing custom fields that you already have. That's one way that you could do this by telling it which custom fields you're mapping to. And if you've done your job, you should have some documentation around that and make sure that your AI knows what those fields are, what the types are, what the options are, and so on and so forth. So let's give this a minute. Rahul, do you have any questions that you want to throw in here while we
I want
wait for
you to
this to
lead
do its
this
thing?
charge because I want them to see it from your words, not mine. But I do have a bunch of questions that will probably take us till about 12 p.m. tomorrow.
Well, like he said, we could do some more of these and get you guys all caught up on all things high level. I've only got 12 minutes to my next call, so let's hope that AI kicks in gear and goes quickly here. Um,
I
but
mean,
let's go.
the cool part is like you mentioned this thing's in beta, but it's working phenomenally. Like you being somebody a little bit more advanced than somebody else, quite honestly, on the high level platform, if not like the top 1% of people who actually know how to use high level at the full capacity and what not to use, just as importantly of what to use. I think it's pretty impressive that the beta has come this far along that it's really kind of still using the term beta, kind of like back in the days Blockbuster used the term new release. It's pretty much getting out of there. But this is an AI first world we live in. Like think about the simplicity that like your delivery could look like, our delivery could look like. But then what's the outcome the customer gets if they don't have this? What's the outcome of your customers if they did have this? If you can compare current status to new status, like and there's no price involved, what would that look like?
Yeah, the sales process is another thing that you and me could talk about for days. We use a sales process called the AOF, which kind of matches what I'm showing you now with actual documentation before I even sell a system. I'll
Yeah.
sell them the consultation first, but
Right.
this is done. So we're going to keep going here. So you guys will notice now that with the prompt that I gave it and the connecting it to the CRM, all of these custom fields have now been created. The only instruction that it didn't follow for me was it didn't put them in the folder. So it's put them all into the additional info folder, which again is pretty standard, but you'll notice that it created single lines for my output fields. And then it created the drop-down single, drop-down multiple, all the single fields here. Recommended workout styles, a single line. Available equipment is a drop-down multiple. So it created all of these fields in the field types that I needed it to create. So now what I'll do, if you guys haven't logged into custom fields in a while, you'll notice they've created a brand new UX UI on here, and I love it. We're going to go move to folder, and we're going to move all of these to the fit set survey folder. Move them there. And let's go to the next page to make sure I didn't miss any.
Potential. There's Prime and Best RX.
Recommended. You got to mute yourself there.
Didn't respond.
Fitness level. So there's a few more that we've got. We're going to add them to the fit set survey folder. There you go. Okay. Now what we're going to try to do is we're going to test it. And this is something that every so often does not work. And so what we're going to try to do here is we're going to go and publish this site. And I'm not going to add any custom domain or anything to this right now. We're just going to publish it because this is also very important to make sure that it all connects to your CRM. We're going to go ahead and view the app. Now, in order to use some of the triggers and functions that you need to use in order to get this to work and fire off properly, you need to do a live fire test of your surveys, your forms, your sites. If you don't do this, then you won't have the external form options available to you when you actually go into the workflows. So let's go and fill this out again. And I'm just going to fly through this. And again, I realize that this is going to not work super great because I don't have a contact record that I'm tying this to. Oh, there we go. We're going to go Adam. We're going to go Adam at join.ghlmastery.com. And then we're going to go build my plan. So this is stuff that you couldn't do back in the funnel builder or the workflow or the website builder. So now it's got all of my input. So now let's go and check. Sometimes this does take a minute. It's not as fast as forms and surveys. I will say that out loud. So there I am right there. And if we scroll down to our fit set survey information, so this is what I'm talking about. So some of the things did not populate the way that I want it to. So if I was to spend, well, I would be spending a lot more time on this. I would go in and I would fix each and every single one of these to make sure that they do populate. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go probably multiple at a time saying, hey, recommended workout style, biggest obstacle, workout location, recommended weekly workouts. These did not map properly. Go and fix it. And that's the beauty of AI. I can just tell it, go and fix this because I don't know how. You get to expand your capacity and your capability without having to learn how to code, without having to learn the API, without having to do any of that stuff, which is fantastic. So I would go back and I would just make sure that all of this stuff gets populated and gets populated properly. Now, the thing that I'm going to leave you with and why we had to do a live fire test of this system is that we need to go and build a workflow that can actually be triggered by this, that can start your automations, that can start your AI engaging with your leads, your prospects, your customers. So I've got a bajillion and one folders in here because this is my sandbox. But let's just say I'll just create a new workflow here for fun. We're going to go create from scratch. We're going to keep it super, super simple. When you create any form or survey inside of AI Studio, you are not going to have a form submit or a survey submit because that's not what they're actually submitting. You will have an external tracking event. Okay, so we're going to come in here. We're going to filter it. We're going to select the event. The event is any of, form submitted, add a new filter, and we're going to go external form because that's what we created is, and then we're going to try to find the fit set survey right here. That is the survey. So we needed to give the survey a name, and then we needed to go and fill it out on a published site. If you did not fill this out on a published site, you will not find this survey or this form in your external tracking links. So, or in your external tracking form triggers. So you need to make sure that you publish it and do a live fire test in order to fire this workflow off of that survey submission. Woo! Rahul, I wanted to get this done in 25 minutes and we did it. I got 5 minutes if you want to throw any questions at me, or if anybody else has questions that are watching the live stream on what
it's funny that you use the survey for fitness because I was just looking at Jot form about how sexy and how smooth the forms and the surveys work so well. And I'm like, if anybody can make that, it's Adam. And then I was watching these forms and I'm like, click, click, click. It looks so good. Because I've filled in these forms a million times over, especially in the fitness category, just because that's like one of my personal interests outside of just work. Where I will see the ad, I'm like, all right, I'm like, I'm in my 45 to 50 range. I want to be this body
We're not
type.
going to be
And it goes,
specific though. We're not going to be specific.
yeah,
Between
yeah,
45 and 50.
yeah. There we go. I know, I don't want to be specific. But no, I love that, man. Like the ability of what we have from somebody who already has high level, but more so for somebody who's just being introduced to it, then the person just being introduced to it has a little bit of a head start because they're starting with AI. Kind of like when our parents said, like, you guys have it so easy because you have the internet, right? Now we can say the same thing, but we're part of it, right? We don't have to say it. We're learning too. So everybody has equal opportunity. It's just the person who has the most devotion, dedication, and commitment to making it work wins. It's not the smartest person in the room.
Absolutely. And like, just to think about what we just accomplished in 20 minutes.
Right.
Would have taken the learning curve for one without AI to go and build this in the funnel builder, create your survey. Not only do you have to create your survey, but now you have to create your output pages and you've got to create survey logic that's going to send them to the right page. We didn't have to do any of that. The learning curve to build something super functional and super useful with AI is shrunk completely down, right? You can literally let AI do the work for you, and it is amazing.
Yeah, and think about this for a second for because obviously these are surveys. Think about what's best for your business. When you know all of Go High Level, you know nothing in the sense of you won't find a customer because you'll confuse yourself and them too. Master one thing and know the rest because then your value added help beyond just the core service that you're known for or want to be known for. That's really the best of anything. This is more business stuff than AI and GHL specifically. I just see people know so much in AI and GHL, but then they don't know what they do for a living and they can't even introduce themselves because it sounds like a whole entire Bible. And nobody wants to hear that shit. They just want to know, what are you doing? How you help me? What's the outcome? If I pay you money, you make me money, or do you improve my operations? Do you make my life easier? Do you make my salespeople more accountable? Do you make their life easier? Just the outcome is all that matters, right? In anything. If you order
And
a
one
Domino's
thing,
pizza, the outcome is you have tasty pizza if you like Domino's, but then you'll have a fat belly and gyms like that, right? So it's a
and one thing that I'll add to that, Rahul, that you and I have addressed in live events that we've done together too, is that the worst thing that you can try to sell if you're using high level as an agency is high level, right? There's no reason for you to sell it. High level itself is selling high level directly to customers. They're going to sell it for $97. You can't compete with that if you want to build a scalable business. So what are you truly going to master for yourself and sell solutions to problems, not a software, right?
absolutely
And they've built their entire model geniusly, I might add, based off of affiliates that promote their product and promote their service.
right,
Well, now they're beyond that. They're
right.
beyond that now, and they're going direct to the customer. So what can you master within the platform? And don't try to master it all at once because it's not going to happen. Go and master something that solves a major problem and promote the solution to the problem, not the software itself.
Yeah, and use something on the AI field, right? Don't go old school.
Bingo.
Don't do yeah. Make sure you're using the AI tools because then otherwise you don't want to start into the future, not in the past. So Just make sure you go there first because it's gonna make things a lot easier. And don't listen to the noise. If somebody says it sucks, it doesn't. They suck, right? Don't, like there's noise and signals. Noise keeps you distracted. Signals keep you focused. So just keep that in mind. So best of luck with whatever your endeavors are, and anybody watching this. But Adam, we're gonna have you back. We'll coordinate that. And then below, if you're live, hashtag replay, and make sure you give some hearts and some likes and give it like say Adam is an AI boss in the comments, and that'll inspire him to come back. And if there's a topic that you're stuck on, specifically in GHL or Thinker or AI or whatever, write it in the comments of this thread. And then we'll do, like I said, our best to either address it and respond to you, or we'll address it on the next live that we do. Just be on the lookout for the events tab in the GSD group, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks
And
a lot, Adam.
I'll say this too, Rahul. If anybody wants the prompt structure that I just shared with everybody, just tag me on this post and just comment prompt.
I want
I'll shoot you a
it. So I
message
have to tag
and I'll
you.
send it over to you.
I want it.
All right. Well, go and engage with your own posts.
All right.
All
All
right.
right,
Take
man.
care, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Bye bye.
Bye.